Good morning, Intenders.
Good morning.
Welcome and welcome back to Morning Intentions. Today is Wednesday, August 26th. We're rounding the corner to our final stretch, or are we in the final stretch of the Courage to Know Yourself? We're going through each Enneagram type and sharing about their light.
I wanted to start off today by saying, I shared yesterday that I think of this as celebrating the light. As we go through these types, if you're the type, I really want you to celebrate the light. If you know someone, like your partner or your parent or your friend, if you know their Enneagram type and you can see this, it would be nice to express gratitude. Sometimes doing this work, even if we know we are coming from the light finally. Of course, we're not going to be coming from the light every day, but we know what it feels like to come from the light. Sometimes that can feel lonely in that we have had to learn about healthy boundaries, and we have had to learn about facing our shadows, looking at our coping strategies, doing all that hard work. And so if someone is coming from the light, it would be nice to celebrate them and express gratitude to them, because this is hard work. And everyone that listens to our podcast, we know, we hear from you, we have sessions with you. This is called work because it's just that. So I just wanted to, yes, celebrate the light, but also express gratitude for the light as well.
I can't say enough about what you just shared and its importance and what it can do for relationships. We hear so often, again, no hyperbole, we hear
Thank you,
so
Rita.
often how much people hear when they do something wrong, like they'll get the negative feedback. They'll hear about it.
Yes.
But when they're doing what other people ask of them, when they're showing up as the light, they hear nothing. They don't get a lot of gratitude about that. And it gets so demoralizing because they say, well, I'm changing, I'm doing what you want. And then I don't even hear that I'm doing great or I'm doing well or thank you so much. They hear nothing. So to have that feedback.
An acknowledgement. I think it's just an acknowledgement as I see that you're showing up from a different place inside. And I want to celebrate that. I want to support that. Like I've watched you, we're not to your type yet, but I've watched you going from, and you've watched me too, like going from this unhealthy coping strategy place to now more often than not, the inner resources, the light. It's a beautiful thing to watch, but it also needs to be supported. So whoever you love, if as we're going through the Enneagram types and you say, oh, that's what the light looks like for the 3, that's what the light looks like today we're going to do the 4, and you recognize it, acknowledge it and express gratitude. It's very encouraging, and that's what we want to do for each other, is we want to express gratitude to one another, especially when we know how hard this work is to do, and how when we see someone and they've done the work or they're doing the work, let's let them know what a difference that makes in our lives.
So if you know someone who's an Enneagram Type 4, that's our next type.
Or if you're an Enneagram Type 4,
and you see the creativity, the emotional honesty that can be such a struggle for all the other types. You can see the compassion. Let them know, or look in the mirror and let yourself know that you see that. Because healthy 4s, the 4s that are coming from the light that is within them, they have this capacity, this tremendous capacity to go into an emotional world without being consumed by it. So many artists and movie makers are 4s. They can show us the world from a deeper perspective that we may not get when we're just hustling and bustling about. They're the kind of people who can look at any situation and see the depth and can make us all say, huh, never thought about it that way before. I was just thinking about it from my own perspective. I never thought about walking a mile in their shoes. And the 4s can show us that.
My experience with Enneagram 4s is that they can kind of hang on to their coping strategies. And I think it's because of their emotional honesty that's wanting to come out, but then they don't really know how and they're coming from their survival strategies. That's why I do think they become the artists that they do, whether it's an author or filmmaker, like you're saying, because that's a way for them to express the light. If you know someone or you are someone who's the Enneagram Type 4 and you're coming from the light, you've done a lot of work. You've looked at some hard things. And then your creativity and emotional honesty and your compassion can become the focus of your life. I celebrate the 4s that have done this work to show up that way. Enneagram Type 5s also struggle a bit when they're coming from the light. It's completely obvious if you've known them before because they tend to be quieter. They tend to observe and investigate, but from more of an internal perspective as opposed to sharing. Like Don is an Enneagram 5. So he doesn't share that much, but when he shares, he really shares. And the healthier the Enneagram 5 becomes and the more light that they have to share, they can bring so much into this world. When they're coming from the light, they're all in. They're all in. And you can see and feel the difference when you're with an Enneagram 5 who's very reserved and quiet and there's a lot going on there to then when they come from that light. And that's why I want to celebrate that light because when they're coming from the light, they have more confidence. They know what they know and they're willing to share it. And they can contribute so much to our world. The Enneagram 5, I think, can get overlooked because you can see the artist of the 4, the author of the 4, all the creativity of the 4. And the 5, it's quiet and subtle, and they may be solving the world's problems, but from a very quiet place. You're probably not going to know their name. But then when they are coming from the light and you know them and they're part of your family, they're your partner, your parent, your friend, they say things in a way that no one else can say it. They observe things that most of us don't observe. The 5 and the 4, we want to celebrate because they're similar in that they have so much to offer and they're very creative, but they do it in different ways. And when their lights shine, they shine.
I thought I could partially speak to the 5, since as a 7, I do have some 5 in me.
You sure do.
Looking at life from that 5 perspective, it has gotten me to be quieter and more introspective. I'm so used to just going and doing something, keeping myself stimulated with activity. It's a different world when you just stop and think about stuff. You just think about life, you think about what you're thinking about. I never thought about that before, and
Are you calmer?
I would say I am. I'm a lot more reflective, I'm calmer. I think things through more than I ever have. It's different and it feels so much better. And maybe this is what we can all do for our intention. Practice being the 4, practice being the 5. What is life like for other people? What is life like when we go to that emotional depth? What is life like when we're creative? What is life like when we stop and analyze whatever's in our lives rather than just looking at it for a half a second and making a decision? I think that would be a great intention for today.
I do as well.
Thank you so much for joining us today and every day. Our day is better because you are part of our day. See you tomorrow.
See you then.